Hello students, in this lecture we will discuss the concepts of thrashing. First we will start with allocation of frames. In pure demand paging we discussed that a process is brought into memory only when it is requested for, or we allocate a frame only when a process demands for a frame, whereas in practical, initially when a process is to be brought into memory we allocate minimum number of frames to each process. Now how many frames should we allocate to each process? The minimum number of frames per process is defined by the architecture and the maximum number is defined by the amount of available physical memory. Two schemes are used for allocating number of frames initially when a process is brought into memory: equal allocation and proportional allocation. In equal allocation, we split m frames among n processes equally, that is each process will get m by n frames where there are n processes and m frames available. Whereas in proportional allocation, we recognize that the fact that various processes will need different amounts of memory. So each process is allocated the frames that are number of frames that are proportional to its size. So let the size of the virtual memory for a process Pi be Si. So we take a sum of all these uh, sizes, that is capital S is sigma Si, and then if the total number of our available frames is m, we allocate Ai frames to process Pi, where Ai is approximately equal to Si by capital S into m, such that uh, the sum of all the allocated frames should be less than equal to the total number of available frames. Now we will take an example. The system has a 1 KB frame size and there are 3 processes of size 15 KB, 30 KB and 60 KB. Let there be 68 free frames in the system. So how equal allocation will allocate? As there are 3, we will divide 68 by 3, 22 frames. So 2 each will get 22 frames. So 2 frames will be kept in the free frame buffer pool that are left. 66 होगा तो 68 total है तो 2 frames will be kept in free frame buffer pool. So each one will get equal allocation irrespective. 15 is the 15 KB process is only requiring 15 frames. 30 KB is requiring 30 and 60 is requiring 60, but we will give 22 to each. In proportional allocation scheme, we will take the sum of all these, that is 15 plus 30 plus 60, total is 105. So P1 will get proportional to it, the total requirement कितना है और उसका share कितना है उसके हिसाब से, तो 15 upon 105 into 68, 10 frames approximately. P2 will get 25 upon 105 into 68, 17 frames approximately, and P3 will get 39 frames. So proportional scheme distribute the free frames more fairly. Now global versus local allocation. Another important factor in the way frames are allocated to various processes is page replacement. With multiple processes competing for frames, we can classify page replacement algorithms into two broad categories: global versus local allocation. Now what do we mean by these two terms? Suppose a process need to replace a frame to bring in the required page. So in global replacement policy, it can take a page from any of the process present currently in the memory, that is the entire memory area allocated to the users different processes. The process can replace any one page, whereas in local replacement policy each process will select only from its own set of allocated frames. So in global, P1 can replace a page of P2, P3 and P4, but in local replacement P1 will only replace a page from its set of pages, P2 will replace a page from its set of pages, and so on. So each one has an advantage and disadvantage. One problem with global replacement algorithm is that the process cannot control its own page fault rate. Suppose the set of pages in memory for a process depends not only on the paging behavior of that process but also on the paging behavior of other process. Suppose P1 is doing well, but because P2 is requiring more pages, it can cause it can take pages from P1, causing P1 to also generate page faults. Where under local replacement, the set of pages in memory for a process is affected by the paging behavior of only that process. Local replacement policy might slow a process, however, by not making available to it other less used pages of memory. Suppose a particular process has 3 frames allocated to it, but it is not using suppose page number 2 for a very long period of time, it is just lying there. So in local replacement policy, another process cannot replace this page number 2 of this process, whereas in global it can replace any. So ऑप्टिमल यूटिलाइजेशन नहीं हो पाता इन लोकल एलोकेशन. Global replacement generally results in greater system throughput and is therefore more commonly used method. Now we come to thrashing, a very important concept. What is thrashing? A high paging activity is referred as thrashing. A process is thrashing if it is spending more time paging than executing. Suppose I have 2 frames and my reference string is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I will do, 1, 2, then for 3 page fault, 4 page fault, 5 page fault. So when this process is executing, CPU will spend more time in handling the page fault than executing the process. So we will say that this process is thrashing. So how this thrashing happens, or why does thrashing occurs? As the degree of multiprogramming increases, CPU utilization also increases. So suppose we have 3 programs in main memory, CPU utilization is somewhere X percentage. Now to increase it, we can bring more number of programs into memory, so CPU utilization will increase. We bring more, so when we bring more processes in memory, the main memory available is shared among different processes. Suppose we have 15 frames, we have 3 processes, each one will get 5. Okay, if we have 3 processes, each one will get 5, but if we have 5 processes, each one will get 3. So as we increase number of processes, uh, pages per or frames per process decreases. So the degree of multiprogramming uh, is increased to increase CPU utilization, but at after a certain point, with the increase in multiprogramming degree, the CPU utilization drops down, and from the point when CPU utilization starts dropping, it is referred as system is thrashing. So at this point, to increase CPU utilization and stop thrashing, degree of multiprogramming must be decreased. We can limit the effects of thrashing by using a local replacement. With local replacement, if one process starts thrashing, it cannot steal frames from another process and cause the later to thrash as well. Now this is the thrashing. Along the y-axis we have CPU utilization, and along the x-axis we have degree of multiprogramming, and we can see as the degree of multiprogramming is increased, CPU utilization also increases, but after a certain extent, with increase in degree of multiprogramming, utilization drops down. So when this happens, we say that system is thrashing because it is spending more time in performing paging than actually doing execution of the processes. Now how do you prevent thrashing? This is the most important concept of prevention, that is locality model. A locality is a set of pages that are actively used together. A locality model states that as a process executes, it moves from one locality to another. A program is generally composed of several different localities which may overlap. For example, when a function is called, it defines a new locality where memory references are made to the instructions of the function call, its local and global variables. Similarly, when the function is exited, the process leaves this locality. For example, you have written a program in C, you have a for loop, then you have a while loop, then you have another for loop, and so on. So suppose a for loop is spanning 2 pages. So at this particular instance, suppose you say for I is equal to 1 to 100, all the instructions in these 2 pages will be executed 100 times. So for a particular time, until that loop terminates, the locality will be these 2 pages that are currently used. for a period of time. Then suppose the next while loop has instructions in 3 pages. So for that particular time the while loop is executing, the locality will be of 3 pages and so on. So if the operating system tries to uh, um, make it a point that it will not replace any page that is currently in the locality, it will not be replaced, so it will not cause page fault, thus preventing thrashing. So the basic principle states that if we allocate enough frames to a process to accommodate its current locality, it will only fault whenever it moves to some new locality. But if the allocated frames are lesser than the size of the current locality, the process is bound to thrash. Suppose you have 3 pages in a while loop and you have allocated only 2 pages. So for every while suppose I is less than 100 you are executing, so for every change in value of I you will cause a page fault to occur. So if the allocated frames are lesser than the size of the current locality, that is 3 at this particular instant, the process is bound to thrash. So according to this model, based on the parameter delta, the working set is defined as the set of pages in the most recent delta page references. Hence all the actively used pages would always end up being a part of the working set. This accuracy of the working set is dependent on the value of this parameter delta. If it is too large, then the working sets may overlap, but if it is too small, the locality might not be covered entirely. So the working set is an approximation of the program's locality. We will take an example. For the time t1, locality is 1 2 5 6 7. For time t2, locality is only 3 4 4, because at that particular time only 2 pages are being referred, but whereas for time t1 we have 5 pages, we need to have 5 pages in the memory. So this working set model keeps on changing the size. It depends on the currently how many instructions or how many pages are required at a particular instant or for a particular time duration. So it keeps on changing from time to time. So an approximation can be made using reference bits and a timer that goes off after a set interval of memory references. So now if m is the number of frames available in memory, there are two possibilities. If d is greater than m, the total demand exceeds the number of frames, then thrashing will occur as some processors would not get enough frames. If d is less than equal to m, then there would be no thrashing. If there are enough extra frames, then some other processes can be loaded in the memory. On the other hand, if the summation of the working set sizes exceeds the availability of frames, then the sum of the processes have to be suspended or swept out of memory. This technique prevents thrashing along with ensuring the highest degree of multiprogramming possible. Thus, it optimizes CPU utilization. Another alternative to locality model is page fault frequency. It is a more direct approach to handle thrashing. Here what we do is we define an upper bound and a lower bound on the page fault rate. The problem associated with thrashing is the high page fault rate, and thus the concept here is to control the page fault rate. If the page fault rate is too high, it indicates that the process has too few frames allocated to it. On the contrary, a low page fault rate indicates that the process has too many frames. So upper and lower limits can be established on the desired page fault rate, and if the page fault rate crosses the upper bound, we can allocate more number of frames to that particular process, because it is generating more page fault rates than we have decided for it. But if the page fault rate falls below the lower limit, we can remove some process, because the process remove some frames from the process, because the process is not utilizing all the frames that is allocated to it. Here too, if the page fault rate is high with no free frames, then some of the process can be suspended and frames allocated to them can be reallocated to other processes. the suspended processes can be restarted later. So this is all about thrashing. Thank you.